Hello everyone, it's Louise here from Standby Method Acting Studio, and I hope you can see me properly. So I'm really excited to share with you some free method acting training this evening. I'm just going to be talking for 30 minutes, but I could talk the hind legs off a donkey about method because I absolutely love it and I'm obsessed with it. So I'm going to talk you through the benefits of the method and how you can use it to make your acting or the craft of acting with yourself much more fine-tuned and authentic, so you can start to impress people with the way that you work. And I want to help you take you from where you are now to where those actors are who consistently use the method. And you know, there's a lot of actors out there in Hollywood and other places that use the method, and they're winning awards and they're getting consistent roles because of this way of working, which brings about truth and authenticity to what it is that they do with these characters. So what is it about the method then that is like so exciting, and why does it work? Well, it's because it answers the question, how do I create truth when everything around me is fake? So if you think about when you're in the theatre and you're doing a show and the curtains go up and you're doing your scene, you know that everything's fake because you've got the audience glaring at you. You can see the lights on you. You get really warm under the lights. You can see the entrances and exits, and that's all fake. That's not authentic to the life of the character. And it's the same when you're in front of a camera. You know, you can see the camera looking back at you. You can also see the man with the boom mic, and you can see the runners, and you can see everybody else. And again, that's not authentic for the life of the character. So, as I said, the method answers the question, how do I create truth when everything around me is fake? And we want to create authenticity. We want to move our audience and we want to move our directors so that they recommend us for more work and so that they want to work with us again, which is what we want. We want to keep moving up the career ladder as actors. By the way, if I keep looking down, it's because I've got my slides to look at and I've got like 15 slides to go through. I've got loads to tell you. So if you do have like a pen or paper or a bit of scrap paper that you can write some notes on, I do recommend that you do that, just because I've got so much to share with you. So what I wanted to ask you then, if you can just type in the comments box now, what is it that you struggle with your craft? Sorry, it looks like the connection's going a bit weak. This will be available to watch after as well. So I wanted to ask you if you could type in the comments box what it is that you struggle with the craft of acting. We're not going to go into line learning because that's nothing to do with the method. So if you could just write in the comments box now what it is that you struggle with the craft of acting. Okay, we've got concentration there. That's a good one. Anything else that we struggle with? I mean, concentration's a biggie because we can start thinking all sorts of crazy things when we're on set or when we're on stage, and we can really sort of let our mind monkeys take over when we don't feel 100% confident that what we're doing is the truth. So that's when our concentration goes haywire. Also as well, knowing what the right things are to concentrate on can sometimes be really difficult to know. So that's when our concentration goes everywhere. Okay then, so let's just talk about some of the bad acting habits that I see all the time, whether it's in actors that are rusty or actors that are inexperienced. Oh, we've got some more comments coming through. Getting frustrated when I feel other actors aren't giving much to work with. Yeah, that can be difficult. And again, that can lead to a lack of concentration because you feel like you're giving a lot to the scene and it's like they're a sponge and they're taking it in, but they're not squeezing that sponge out and they're not giving you anything back. So I totally understand that. So let's go back to the bad acting habits then. So I see these in actors who are rusty, inexperienced actors, and I've done all these bad acting habits myself. So the first one then, in fact, do any of you know what any of these bad acting habits might be? Let's see if you can guess. Write in the comments if you have got a clue about what any of these bad acting habits may be. And don't worry if they're wrong. There's no right or wrong with this. So I'll just wait a couple of minutes to see if anyone... Yep, overacting, definitely. Hamming it up, that's definitely a bad acting habit. And it's one of my pet hates because everybody can access the truth. Pretending, yes, absolutely, that's another bad acting habit. Just when we don't know how to access the truth, we definitely go to pretending. And what I was saying in class last night, which Chris can vouch for, who I know is watching now, is that it doesn't matter how much you pretend and how amazing your pretending is and your fraud is, it will always be fraud. And it won't move your audience, it won't move your director, and most importantly, you won't be moved by it as well. What else have we got there? Not being able to go with the flow. Yep, absolutely. I mean, that all comes down to lack of concentration and being inside your own head. Rehearsed lines. Yes, we are going to get onto that a little bit later on. So rehearsed lines are another bad acting habit, definitely. So the ones that I've got down, on top of the ones you've already given me, the first one is sighing. So it's making like a sound between lines, and you may have done that yourself. I've done it, I've been guilty of it. When we're sighing between lines, we're doing that because we're trying to connect to emotions and we're trying to have an emotional experience. So it does come from somewhere, and it is a justified bad acting habit, but it's a bad acting habit all the same. And it's not going to connect you to those emotions because you don't really know what you're doing. You're just guessing. The other bad acting habit that I come across quite a lot is moving on your feet. So it might be that you're bouncing on them, or it might be that they're moving around, or you're tiptoeing around. And you as the actor might not even be aware of this. What that is it's nervous energy. And nerves obviously are energy, and that energy has to be expelled somehow, and it's expelled through movement. But that doesn't serve you as the actor, it doesn't help you connect authentically. And what it does to us as the audience is it makes us so aware of your feet that that's all that we pay attention to. So we're not listening to what you're saying, we're not going with the story. We lose concentration as the audience because we're just watching your feet, which have got a show of their own going on. What's another bad acting habit? Luke says not listening to gut instincts. Yes, that is one of the biggest bad acting habits there are out there, because your gut instincts are always right. They're always on the money. So let me move down my list then. The next one is parroting the lines the same way each show and each take. So they've got no authenticity behind them. You may have learnt them in a rhythm, or you may not, but what you're doing is you're just saying them, you're just spewing them out basically in exactly the same way each and every time you do the scene. And that's what we call mechanical acting, because you're not being present in the moment. What you're doing instead is you're being a bit of a robot. You're just saying something the same way you said it before because you're not quite sure how to connect to these lines. So, again, it's kind of justified, but it's not, because you're never going to find the truth, and you'll always walk off stage, or you'll walk away from the scene thinking, my God, I didn't connect to it then, and I could have done better. The next bad acting habit I come across is focusing on how to say the lines. So, again, it goes back to parroting them. When you focus on how to say them, you start saying them in a rhythm. You keep saying them the same way each and every time, and it's not truthful, it's not authentic, and it doesn't give your scene partners anything to work with. So when you're focusing on how to say the lines, you're not in the present moment, and you're not giving any gifts for your scene partners, because you are inside your own head, thinking, oh God, hi, how are you? 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 And you keep taking this process, which is what I've done way back in the past, but you know it's not authentic, and you know that you're not finding the truth, and you just walk away really upset with yourself. What does Chris say? Overemphasizing using props or words like he did last night. Yeah, well, that's kind of going on what I've just been talking about. And I mean, there are tons of bad acting habits, but the last one that I want to touch upon is not listening to what's going on in the scene. What happens when you're not listening to what's going on in the scene is you're inside your own head. You're inside your own head because you are trying to connect emotionally. You're trying to find the truth. You're probably scared that you're going to forget your lines. You want to know how to say the lines, but your acting becomes non-existent basically, because when you're inside your own head, you're not listening to what your scene partners are giving you, and you're also unable then to give anything back. So then you're blocked because you're inside your own head. What does Francesca say? Parroting the lines seemed to be what was being asked for when I did the theatre production. Was really grateful for the training Standby gave me to help me find the truth in the moment. Oh, thank you, Francesca, and I hope that went really well. Sometimes you can get directors like that. They want you to parrot it because they want a result, and they're scared that if you take a risk, it's not going to work, and they want their show to be in a particular way. So sometimes we've got to work out how do we get around that when directors are trying to get us to parrot the lines, which is what I've experienced myself as well, when a director's basically had me as a little puppet saying, stand here, do this, say this exactly like this, and you don't feel creative, which is what we spoke about before. So as I said, there's a ton more bad acting habits, but we've only got 30 minutes, and oh my gosh, I'm 12 minutes in already, and I've got loads to tell you. So what is the method then? What is the method, and why does it get all these actors who are up in Hollywood these results, and why does it get them to win awards, and why do directors still want to work with them? It's because the method is about finding unique, moment-to-moment, authentic behaviour. Behaviour is the key. And it's behaviour that cannot be copied by any other actor, and it's behaviour that you can't copy yourself on another night or another take, because it's unique and it's moment to moment, and it means you have been in the present moment. So all these bad acting habits that we've just spoke about and that you guys have all just contributed with on the comments, these are all habits that take you away from being in the moment. So you're not finding that unique, authentic behaviour. You're then not able to give a gift to your scene partner, and then you can't receive a gift because you're usually inside your own head when you've got these bad acting habits going on. So it's really important that you understand that the method is about finding unique, moment-to-moment, authentic behaviour that cannot be copied. It can't be copied by another actor, it can't be copied by you again. So what does the method do then? Well, firstly, the method makes you more aware of your bad acting habits. We've got to be able to figure out what they are so we can get rid of them. And once we've figured out what they are, the method helps you replace these bad acting habits with better, more effective habits that help you find the behaviour of the character. So not how you're going to say the lines, not trying to conjure up an emotion and struggling, it's the behaviour. That's what the method helps you find. The method also stops you being concerned with yourself and whether you're good enough, because you have to play moment to moment. Sorry, the connection keeps going, so hopefully you can still hear me and you can still pick up what I'm saying. The method also helps you understand yourself and your life on a much deeper level so that you can share the truth of life with your audience. And that's what we're after. So when you've watched a movie or when you've been to the theatre and you've cried at something, it's because on a really deep level, you've connected with the actor. What they've done has resonated with you. And in that moment, you forgot that they're acting. And they forgot that they're acting as well. They've been truthful and they've worked from the unconscious. The same when you get angry at a character, the same when you laugh at a character. It's because they've connected with you on a deep level. They've moved you because they've been truthful and authentic. So, in the comments box, guys, type in what it is that you would like to achieve with your acting, with your craft, sorry. So not with the business side, not with line learning, but what is it that you would like to achieve with the craft of acting? And I'll just wait a second, or maybe a minute, until someone comments. So I'm asking you to type in the comments box what it is that you'd like to achieve with the craft of acting. Okay, we've got one comment coming through. I want to... I can't see the rest of that. So if you wouldn't mind writing that back in again, that'd be lovely. Just whilst I'm waiting for the comments to come through, what I always wanted to achieve with my acting is touching people, touching their hearts, moving people, getting them to understand life, I guess, on a deeper level as well. Okay, Jessica says, I want to go to an audition without the nerves taking over. I can definitely relate to that. So, yeah, that's good. The method can help you with that. Anybody else? What would you like to achieve with the craft of acting? So, yeah, nerves are something that all actors experience. It doesn't matter whether you're at the top of your game or you're just starting out. We all experience them because we all put pressures on ourselves. And that's where nerves come from. Wanting to do the best that we can do, and the first point of method acting deals with nerves, which I will talk to you about a little bit later. Luke says performances to be at a consistently high level. Yeah, we all want that, don't we? Because we know that when we've got performances at a consistently high level, we feel good about what we've done. Directors are impressed by what we've done. They're more likely to recommend us to other directors or for other roles. They're more likely to work with us again. So, yeah, I can understand that. Chris, to become more honest and confident and not just entertain. Absolutely. One of the things we were talking about in class last night is asking ourselves, am I doing this because I'm being truthful, or am I doing this for effect? And that's one of the questions that Sanford Meisner kept asking his students. Are you doing this to be truthful, or are you doing it for effect because you are an actor? Ruth says not overacting. Yeah, definitely. We don't want to overact because we know that it's not the truth. And it feels clunky when we overact and we feel bad. Jessica says consistent energy throughout long days on a set. Absolutely. We can get really tired. Kimberly says, I would like to gain more confidence in front of the camera and give a realistic performance. Yeah, method can definitely help with that. Luke says to take my time in a scene. Yeah, just going back to the nerves, which Jessica mentioned. When we've got nerves, they can make us speed everything up because it's like a spurt of adrenaline in our bodies, if we look at it biologically. So then everything gets sped up and we're not listening, we're not in the present moment, and we're just, sort of shooting everything out. Kyle says he'd like to be able to be free in the moment. Yeah, again, this is all things that the method can help you with, because when we're not free and in the moment, we're inside our own heads. When we're feeling nervous, we're inside our own heads. When we're not giving consistent performances, we're inside our own heads. Portray several. Just got portray several now. Okay, so I'll wait for the rest of that to come through. So whilst that comment is coming through, let's talk about the starting point of the method. And the starting point of the method, believe it or not, is who are you? That is what we always have to ask ourselves when we start working with the method. And Lee Strasberg always used to ask his students to be constantly asking themselves, who are you? And if you read Uta Hagen's book, Respect for Acting, the first thing she talks about is the actor understanding themselves. Jess says, portray different emotions at the same time. Yeah, that's very, very tricky, and it can be. So who are you is the starting point of the method. So when we're asking ourselves, who am I? You've got to ask yourself several questions, and one of the first ones is, what has got you to this place that you're at presently? What conditioning have you experienced during your life, and how has it affected you? What habits do you have, and where do they come from? Why do you speak the way you do? Why do you have the accent that you do? Why do you have the tone of voice that you do? Why do you think the way you do? Why do you have the posture that you have? Why do you respond to situations the way that you do? So we're thinking on an emotional, physical and a mental level when we're asking ourselves, who am I? And it's really important that you can keep understanding and asking yourself these questions. When we know who we are, when we truly know who we are and we truly understand ourselves, which can take a lifetime to figure out, you know, we might not get it all in one night, but when we've asked and answered these questions and we understand ourselves on a much deeper level, then we can empathise with characters. Then we can understand what makes that character tick. Then we can understand why that character has got particular habits, why that character behaves the way they do, because we've taken the time to understand ourselves firstly. If we just rush into trying to understand these characters without firstly understanding ourselves, what we will do is we will be generic. We will just give a general performance. Kimberly says being able to change your accent. Yeah, well, that's not so much what comes with method acting. You would need an accent and dialect coach for that, but definitely you have to think about all the different characters that you play and not going to have your accent. So to go back to who am I, when we've asked ourselves this, when we've figured it out and we can empathise with the characters, we can apply those same questions to the character, and that's what helps us start to build an authentic and truthful character. Now, you might be asking, well, how do I start to figure out who this character is? How am I going to know what their habits are? How am I going to know how they behave? How the hell do I know how my character responds in a certain situation due to their conditioning? What you need to do, the first thing when you pick up any script, whether you're at an audition and you're sight reading, or whether, you know, it's a play that you're doing and you're about to go to the table read, or whether it's a film that you're doing, the first thing you must do is look for the given circumstances. And the given circumstances are the facts in the play, and I talk about the players in the script, you know, players in like the film script that you're working on. So the given circumstances are the fact in the play or the script that the playwright wrote that you cannot change. No matter how much you want to, you can't change them. And that's where you start finding out and discovering who this character is, and you start understanding them on a physical, a mental and emotional level. And because you've took that time to work out who you are, you can then follow that same pattern with the character. So the given circumstances are the starting point for the evidence of building our character, and that's the first thing that you should always be looking for. So what are the given circumstances then, guys? Just type in the comments box and let me know that you've been listening. And I'll just wait for your comments to come through. Okay, so it's been a little bit slow, so I'll carry on, and then when the comments start coming through, then I will talk about them. Okay, so we've moved past the given circumstances. Then we figured out, firstly, with the method, we need to work out who we are. So then we can work out who the character is. So we have to work out what's shaped us, so then we can work out what shaped the character. Luke says the definitive facts given by the playwright. Yep. Amanda, sorry, I've not got my glasses on, so I'm having to squint. Amanda says habits of the character. Yeah, the given circumstances are the facts that the playwright has written that you can't change. So when we've worked out who we are, us the actor, we've worked out what shaped us, we can then do that with the character, but to be able to do that with the character, we've got to find the given circumstances of the play first. So then when we're working with the method, at least when we're working with Lee Strasberg's method, we start to work from the inside outwardly. So we start to work with our mind and what's going on with our mind. And the reason we do that is because if you can create truth and you can create reality inside your mind, you can then create it outwardly as well. So what you create in your mind, you create in reality. Most of what holds actors back, and this goes with working inwardly first and figuring out who you are, it's all sort of interlinked. Most of what holds actors back is not actually their lack of talent, and nothing to do with the craft of acting or the techniques within acting. It's actually to do with personal issues in our minds. So I just want to share a very quick story that when I got to drama school when I was 18, my acting went downhill and it was the worst it had ever been. Now, prior to that, at college and school, I was intuitively working with the method, even though I didn't realise that I was. But when I got to drama school, I had all these mind monkeys in my head going, oh God, everyone else is so much better than me, and I'm from a council estate, and you know, all these silly thoughts that were going on. And I started comparing myself to all these other actors, and that affected my acting, which had nothing to do with my talent, because I wouldn't have got into drama school had I have not had some potential or some talent. And it was nothing to do with the craft of acting, it was my personal issues. So you will know what personal issues you've got, and you will know what your own mind monkeys are. And we have to start being aware of those as an actor, so we know when to get rid of them, because they hinder our acting. So as I said, most of what holds actors back is not actually their talent. It's nothing to do with the craft of acting or their techniques. It's to do with the mind monkeys and their personal issues, what are going on inside their mind. And that's why Lee Strasberg was so big on actors leaving their personal issues at the door. And I'm exactly the same at Standby, because when an actor brings in a personal issue to the class or to rehearsals, it takes over. And it starts spreading like a disease, and then all the other actors pick up on it. And what you find is that the other actors then start stumbling, and they start hitting blocks with their acting, and that's not what we want. So when we've got these personal issues, they stop you working in the present moment. And remember, I said right at the beginning, or not right at the beginning, but about 10 minutes in, that method acting is about finding unique, authentic, moment-to-moment behaviour that no other actor can copy and that you can't replicate again. Well, when we're in our own heads with our mind monkeys and with our personal issues, they stop you being in the present moment, and you're concerned with yourself rather than being concerned with the given circumstances, which are the facts that the playwright's written that you cannot change. We've got another comment that's just come in. I just need to stop being very conscious of myself when on set. Absolutely. We have all been there, and I have been there more than most people. One of the things that we can do as actors is start looking at others going, oh God, they're prettier than me, or oh my God, they're really good, and shit, I'm not so good, or oh, I'm not as pretty as them. But it doesn't serve you. What I always say to my actors when I'm training them, and what I say to myself when I'm on set as well, is that the playwright didn't write about my personal issues. The playwright didn't write about my mind monkeys. The playwright wrote about the given circumstances of the play. And my job as the actor is to bring to life and bring authenticity and truth to these given circumstances. So that might be a way to start working around these issues that you've got when you are concerned with yourself. So We're going to move on to the method triangle. My students who are online will know all about this. It's the very basics, the fundamental of acting. So you've got your triangle, and it consists of 3 points, as a triangle does. And the first point on the method triangle is relaxation. That's right at the very top. Relaxation is the very first thing that we do in the method because it helps us become self-aware. It helps us understand our own minds and our own bodies. And we don't relax ourselves physically, we relax ourselves mentally. And I'm not going to go into the steps of that now because we don't have time. But when we're working with relaxation with the method, we can understand our own habits. We can become so self-aware and then learn how to replace them with more effective habits. And relaxation also helps us take ourselves away from our personal issues and our own concerns with ourselves. So we stop comparing ourselves to others. So we stop saying that we're shit. So we stop, giving in to the mind monkeys and giving them attention. So relaxation is pivotal, it's vital, it is the foundation of method acting. Without relaxation, you can't be creative, you can't be in the moment, you can't listen to your impulses, and you certainly won't be aware of your own habits mentally and physically. Because relaxation, the way we do it in the method is it helps you understand where it is that you're carrying tension in your own body. So you become very self-aware, and then you can start figuring out, why have I got that tension in that particular place? What is it about that place that's carried all this tension? And soon we can start to unravel our lives and be like, I get it now. That thing that happened all those years ago, it stayed with me. And relaxation is very, very powerful. What can happen when we start to release all the unnecessary energy and all the tension, and when we're working in the present moment with relaxation, is that it can bring up emotions. And I've had tons of actors who cry during relaxation because in the big long muscles in your back, that's where all the traumas are stored that we've been through in life. They're stored up there. Lee Strasberg spoke to psychologists about this and they confirmed that. And when we're unlocking that unnecessary energy, they're released from those big muscles, and it can lead to us crying or becoming angry or even laughing, nervous laughter. So relaxation is the first point on the method triangle. The second point on the method triangle, sorry, I keep doing that, but I should be doing that, on this side is concentration. So we've got relaxation and concentration. And if you remember earlier, I was talking about with the method, or at least with Lee Strasberg's method, we work from the inside outwardly. So what we create inwardly, we create in reality. And we can only do that with concentration. And when you watch all the top method actors like Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Robert De Niro is a fantastic example. His concentration levels are on point, and that's what gives him this intense edge when he's working. And because he's concentrating on the right things, that means he's able to work presently in the moment. Now, when you're concentrating on the right things, you will be giving gifts to your scene partners. And you won't be concentrating on your mind monkeys or your personal issues. So all these thoughts of I'm not good enough, that other actor's better than me, shit, what's the director thinking, am I going to work again, God, I can't remember my next line. These stop us from being in the moment, but when we concentrate on the right things, we work in the moment, and that's when authentic acting starts to come about. So then the third point on the method triangle, so we've got relaxation, concentration, and then lastly, imagination, which is a given really as an actor. We need imagination because all imagination is believing in what we're doing. So we're believing in the given circumstances so that we can work moment to moment truthfully, finding behaviour that's truthful to that moment. So we've got relaxation, concentration, imagination. Now, we need all these three things flowing at the same time for us to be able to give that moment-to-moment behaviour. If any one of those three things is taken away, for example, let's say relaxation, let's say we're not relaxed, let's say we're really nervous, we're well and truly nervous, which is what Jess mentioned at auditions. So when we're nervous, we can't concentrate. We don't concentrate on the right things. We concentrate on these mind monkeys. So then that has a knock-on effect, on the imagination. Our imagination won't work because we're concentrating on, I'm not good enough, am I going to get the role, or, you know, whatever it is that you're focusing on. So then your triangle doesn't flow, and you don't have that unique, authentic moment-to-moment acting. Or you could take away concentration. If you're not concentrating, your imagination's not going to work. Or you could take away your imagination. If you're not seeing images in your head, then more than likely you're concerned with yourself, you're not relaxed, you're not concentrating, and therefore you're just going through the motions. And that's not what we want. So, I'm going to test you again. What are the 3 points on the method triangle that will give you unique, authentic, moment-to-moment behaviour? And I'll just have a quick sip of my cup of tea whilst you write that down, because my throat is starting to hurt. So I think there's a little bit of a delay on this, so we'll just wait. So what are the 3 points on the method acting triangle that when we've got all 3 things in place, they're going to give you unique, authentic, moment-to-moment behaviour? Amanda says relaxation, concentration and imagination. Top points to you, Amanda, you've been listening. Luke says the same. Well done, Luke. Francesca says the same. Kyle says the same. Ruth says the same. Oh, you're all model students. So, with what I've been speaking about so far, Jessica says the same. Well done. So what I've been speaking about so far with the method, what have you learned? What's been your biggest takeaway from this video? Imagination, relaxation, and imagination. Concentration is. So what have you learned from what I've been speaking about? What's resonated with you that you're going to take away and use in your acting the next time you're on set, or, you know, the next time you're in class, the next time you're at an audition? And I'll just wait for your comments to come through. So what have you learnt from what I've been talking about? The triangle. Yes, that triangle. Relaxation, concentration, imagination. That's really important. Super important. Okay, so actors who get the results that they're at, or someone said ditto, yeah? The triangle is super important. It's the basis of everything that I teach and everything that Lee Strasberg discovered in the method. So anyway, to go back, the actors who get the results that they're after are the ones that keep learning. They keep practicing their craft. They're aware of their flaws. They don't beat themselves up. They understand that, yep, this is a flaw and I need to keep learning. Yolanta says method helps you find behaviour. That's what she's learned. Yep, that's really important. It's not how you say lines. It's not about stressing yourself out to find emotions. I mean, there are techniques to find emotions, but it is about finding behaviour. Luke says to use my own life experience and incorporate that into auditions filming. Yeah, absolutely. Going back to who am I, and then replicating that with the character. We have to use our own life experience because that's where our truth comes from. We live our truth through the imaginary given circumstances. Chris says the 3 elements of the triangle help make us a more confident person and act equally. Yes. Ruth says my true image and experiences. Yeah, everything you've been through in life, the good, the bad, the shitty, it's all usable in the method as long as you've got over it. Francesca says it's reinforced that it's from the inside out and about finding truth in the moment, listening to your scene partners. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's so much that we can learn in the method. It's very difficult to try and give you everything in 30 minutes, which I've gone over, by the way. I knew I would. I'm always like this. I could talk forever about the method. So yeah, so those actors who get the results thereafter, they're aware of their flaws and they keep learning to improve them and they fail forward. And that's what we talk about here in the studio at Standby. So they keep taking action. I believe that mastering your craft takes, well, it's a lifelong process to do that. I don't believe you master it overnight. And when you watch the actors, I use this example in class, but the method actors such as Bradley Cooper, who talks about even now, after winning awards and, you know, portraying some amazing characters, he talks about how he still wants to keep improving. So that should give us all hope and inspiration. Okay, so the method is challenging. It is really challenging because it keeps asking you to ask yourself, who am I? We always go back to that question, who am I? What has brought me to this place? And the reason we do that is because usually your bad acting habits come from your conditioning in your life. So that's why we keep going back to who am I? Why have I got these tippy-tappy toes and tippy-tappy feet in the scene? Why am I sighing like this in scenes? Why am I parroting lines? Because there's something in your life that's conditioned you to behave in this way, and it's what I call your default setting. And I've had actors who have come in thinking, yeah, the method, it's used by Hollywood actors, it's going to be a walk in the park, and it isn't. It gets you out of your comfort zone, and being out of your comfort zone makes you feel uncomfortable. It's not something that we like, it's not something that we're used to, and our minds try to keep us safe by saying, oh no, don't do that, don't do this new thing because it's scary and it's going to hurt you. It isn't. You're going to keep developing with the method, but that's what our minds will tell us, that it is scary. So I've had a couple of actors who've come through thinking it's going to be a breeze in the park, and they found it really, really challenging, and they've quit. They've completely quit because it's not what they expected it to be. They expected it to be much, much easier than it is. But it has to be challenging so that you can find that authentic behaviour in the moment. Because if you're so masked by your bad habits, you will never, ever grow. And the sadness in that, in these guys that have quit, is that then their acting dreams are never lived out. And they might be thinking, God, where could I have gone with this? Like, what could I have done? What could I have achieved? And then, on the other hand, I've got actors who like getting out of the comfort zone. They've learned that this is the way of working with the method. They like getting out of the comfort zone. And they have breakthroughs. And when they have those breakthroughs, it's like, hallelujah. They're really excited. And their acting goes up another level and another notch. And that's really exciting for me to see, as well as them to experience. So I just wanted to end on a very short Q&A. So I've gone way over 30 minutes. I knew I would do. I'm up to 45. I do apologise, but hopefully you're enjoying what you're learning. So let's end on a Q&A then, and I'll just take a couple of questions. Any questions you've got about the craft of acting or about the method. I'm not going to answer questions on learning lines because that's nothing to do with method acting. That's to do with memory, and that's not something that your acting coach should be teaching you, because we're not memory experts. We are acting experts. So I'll wait for those questions to come through. So if you've got a question about the craft of acting or about method acting itself, please do write it in the comments box and I will answer a couple of questions. So whilst you're writing those questions, I will recap what we've learned. So we've learned that firstly with the method, we need to be asking ourselves, who am I? And we do that so we can understand ourselves on a very deep and profound level, so that we can then empathise with characters and ask those same questions to the characters. To be able to build a character, we have to go to the given circumstances firstly, which are the facts that the playwright has written that you can't change. And then to be working authentically and to be finding unique moment-to-moment authentic behaviour, we've got to have our method acting triangle flowing with all three elements in place, which are relaxation, which is the foundation of method, concentration and imagination. Is it always necessary to burst into tears at any relevant moment? Could you expand on that, please, Ruth? I'm not quite sure I understand that question. So is that within a scene that you keep bursting into tears? Or is it that when you're trying to find an emotion, it's the tears that are coming up as opposed to other emotions that you're looking for? If you could just expand a little bit more on that question, that'd really be helpful. I'll go to Luke's question. Do you think it hinders British actors that use the method in our work in the industry in the UK more than it would in the USA due to the misconceptions, lack of knowledge? I don't think so. I don't think it hinders actors at all, because when you're moved by an actor, whether they class themselves as a method actor or not, they will have used the method, which is what Lee Strasberg said. He said that any actor who's acted well has used the method, because it all comes from what's going on inside of you. So when you've got that concentration and your imagination's working and you've got the belief in the given circumstances, you will find that truthful, authentic moment-to-moment behaviour. So I don't think that method acting will hinder you as an actor being British, and if it does, then that's the person who doesn't understand what the method's about. But it shouldn't do, because when you're using the method, you will be bringing truth and authenticity to your work, and that's the magic of the method, and you'll be moving your audience and moving your director. So why any director would be not wanting or not liking truthful behaviour, I wouldn't really understand that. Kyle, what's the best way to relax before an audition? Use relaxation technique is the answer to that. So what you would need to do is get yourself to an audition a good amount of time before the audition's due to take place, and go through the technique of relaxation that we use in the method. Because when you're going through, obviously Kyle, I know that you know the steps of relaxation, but when you're going through those 4 steps, what it's doing is redirecting your focus. It's releasing that nervous energy that you have before auditions, so that you can go in with a clear mind, and your creative impulses have the opportunity to make themselves known to you, so then you can decide whether you want to act upon the impulse or not. So use relaxation and get to your audition a good amount of time before the audition's due to start. And just on the back of that, what I would say about auditions is don't get involved in all the small talk. Don't get involved in the, oh, where did you train? What was the last job you did? It's not relevant. You're not there to talk about that. You're there to go to an audition to get a job. In any other job in normal life, you would never get like another applicant saying, oh, so where did you train? And what was your last job? You'd never get it. So don't entertain it when you're at auditions, because it's a distraction technique. You use your relaxation, get yourself focused. You don't need to be sociable. You're not there to make friends. You can be sociable after you've come out of the audition room. But yeah, use that relaxation technique. Oh, let me just go up the comments. Chris, why isn't the method taught more in drama schools as a syllabus? Actually, I don't know the answer to that. A lot of the British drama schools use Stanislavski's system, which Stanislavski was the catalyst for the method, and Lee Strasberg finished off the work that Stanislavski couldn't, because obviously he passed away. Honestly, I don't know. I think the method should be used in more drama schools, especially in the UK. It's really big in the States, but not so much in the UK, and I think it should be. Especially because it gets you to understand yourself on that deeper level, and the great thing about the method is it works with you as the individual actor. So whatever your struggles are, there's a technique that can be like prescribed to you as the actor. I don't know the answer to that, honestly. If you have to walk, oh sorry, I've just covered the screen. If you have to walk into a scene out of breath, should you do something to physically exhaust yourself first? That's up to you. I do that because then it creates the truth for me, rather than me then trying to act like I'm out of breath and then being aware that I don't sound like I'm out of breath. So for me, if I've not done something physically to make myself out of breath first, I will always be thinking, oh God, this doesn't sound real, it's fake, and then my triangle's not flowing because I've taken myself, or I've knocked off that concentration element, and I'm now focusing on what I sound like, which is not really part of the scene, is it? We want to be focusing in the moment, finding the truthful behaviour. So yeah, I would say do something physical if that helps, because then it's truthful, it's real, and you've got something to work with. It's a gift. Okay, we've got another comment. Let's have a look. Sorry, I'm squinting because I've not got my glasses on. Do you think in general American actors have a better understanding of working moment to moment compared to UK actors due to using method more than here in the UK? Oh, that's a big question. I don't know, because Stanislavski did talk about working moment to moment. I think, and this is only my opinion, this is not fact, so don't quote me or anything, just my opinion. I think American actors seem to be like much more in tune with themselves, and they seem to be able to connect more internally to their experiences, which gives them that moment-to-moment acting. I'm not saying that British actors can't do that, and I'm not saying that they don't do that. I guess my opinion comes from the fact that the film industry is dominated by America, so it's a bit of a biased answer there. It's a very difficult question to answer. Let's just go to one last question then, and then we'll wrap it up. So, I found it really difficult to portray intimacy, closeness with one scene partner to the point where I felt physically repelled. From a self-awareness perspective, I found it shocking. But how would you suggest overcoming such strong personal feelings when you need to get into the character? Does that make sense? Yes, it does. It does make sense. Okay, so what I would say with that is you need to build a relationship up with that actor, firstly. Because when we're working with intimate scenes or non-intimate scenes as well, we've got to trust ourselves and trust our scene partner. So you need to firstly build up that relationship with that person as an actor. That's the first thing. So maybe, and it depends what that other actor, you know, like how much they want to give to their craft and how much they want the scene to work, I guess, you know, depending on the level of the project. But I would go out for coffee with them and get to know them on a personal level. So then you're starting to break down those barriers, and also ask yourself, why is it that I'm feeling this way? Like, what is it about this person that's making me feel physically repelled? Is it something about that person, or actually is it my personal issue? Because remember, Strasberg says that the things that hold us back as actors are nothing to do with the craft of acting or our talent. Sorry, it's usually to do with, just have a sip. It's usually to do with our personal issues. So is it something going on inside yourself? But I would always say you need to build up a relationship with that actor firstly. That's the first thing I would be doing, because when you don't have a truthful relationship, it comes across on stage or definitely on screen when all the attention is on you, when, you know, on the close-ups, the mid-shots, and we can tell when you're lying. So build up that relationship. So guys, thank you so much for staying with me for, oh my god, nearly an hour. I'm so sorry. I just love the method, as you can tell. So if you want to learn more about the method, or you're struggling with your craft and you'd like to be able to implement some of these things that you've learnt today in an environment where you're going to be safe and you're going to be nurtured and you're allowed to fail forward, we do have auditions for our 12-week method acting programme. The 12-week method acting programme begins in October, but the auditions are being held on the 1st of September. So if you would like to develop your craft and your technique further, and you want to put some of what you've learned into play with myself, I have been over to the Actor Studio in New York and I have a training there, then please do go onto our website, standbymethod.com. You'll see a massive pink button which says apply now. You can apply there, or you could go onto the tab which tells you about the 12-week programme, and you can have a little read up there. I would love to see you at the auditions, and I would love to be able to help as many of you as possible. It's my mission to help as many actors as possible be the best actors that they can be. And I've learned from everything in my own drama school training that didn't work, and I've turned it around so that it does work for actors, because I know what actors need, being an actor myself. Alternatively, we've got a free 3-hour method acting class. That's on Saturday the 13th of August. Usually to work with me you would have to audition for the studio, but if you do want to do that, please do send me a message on this page with your email address and I'll send you details of that. Please don't write them on the comments, don't want everybody seeing. So yeah, so that's a free method acting class on Saturday the 13th of August. That's 12 p.m. till 3 p.m. If you want more details of that, just drop me a message on the page, give me your name and your email address and I'll send you some details. Or if you do want to audition for the studios, just go on our website, standbymethod.com. And I would just like to thank you so much for staying with me for nearly an hour. And thank you for contributing. And I hope you've learned lots and lots about the method. And if you liked this video and you want me to do more, drop me a quick message now or just drop a like. And I will planning to do some more videos if you want more of this. So thank you very much, guys. It's been absolutely fantastic to speak with you, and I will see you again soon. Bye.